Good evening again, everybody. elyK StarCraft here, bringing you my second cast for today. I just finished a wonderful game between Empire Koss and Whiterah, and that was my first game without a Zerg in it. And now you see me casting one of my own games. There I am, elyK, the blue Zerg in the bottom left corner, versus EvOluTiOnS, the red protoss in the, I guess, top left corner. Not quite the top left, but you guys can see where he is on the mini-map. Now, the map is going to be Antiga Shipyard, which for those of you that don't know, Zergs often like it just because you see you've got the nice little ramp right down to your natural, and you've got two more ramps right up to your third. So we're very easy to take third right there. And I decided to cast this game just because, again, this was one of my few 1v1s that I've had a chance to play since I've been back at school. I mostly just play customs with friends and whatnot. But this was against a diamond protoss. Now, I did not look. I think he was a top 50 diamond, just based off of his emblem next to his name after the game. That's all I can really say. And I wanted to show you guys this to so everyone can see the strategy I use against protoss, which is a very, I guess, kind of non-conventional one. It's actually one I kind of learned from watching Destiny's stream at one point that Combat X kind of taught him. Now, for those of you that don't know, I do like to go for an 11 pool in Zerg versus Protoss. The reason for this, I can actually really attribute it to, that's something StarCraft likes to do. Very good, very funny Zerg caster, very good, much better than I at StarCraft. But I like to go for that 11 pool like he does, just because, of course, this probe here is going to try as hard as it can to block this expansion. It'll throw down pylons, and if you're not careful, it can throw down cannons and stuff behind here if they're forge fast expanding. But if you get this 11 pool, it makes it so you can kill that probe, get the expansion down quicker, you can stop any cannoning out down here, and of course in this case it doesn't apply because the Protoss is just doing a, he's opening up one base instead of forge fast expand. But Protoss is to go for a forge fast expand on, they go for something like a Nexus first, or a Nexus before cannon, or something like that. You can really punish it because the cannon's not up in time. You can run in, sometimes force a cancel on their Nexus, pick up 4, 5, 6 probes if you can, or if you can micro well enough. Now, of course, my micro isn't good enough. You see my Zerglings just sitting here for maybe 10, 15 seconds before I'm actually doing anything with them. So now I will be sending them to do some kind of work, and you do see me throwing down this expansion right here. But, so I'll take this little bit of downtime in the game. Sorry, I was adjusting my headset there. I'll take this little bit of downtime in the game to just kind of explain exactly what my build is. Now, for those of you who know who Combat X is, he is a, he has a little bit of an infamous reputation about him. He is a StarCraft 2 player who is, he's actually fairly good. He's in Grandmaster League, but he's known for doing things like stream cheating, which he has actually stopped recently, and he has actually become a good player. But one of the things he does is he really abuses the metagame, or like mechanics of how the game will work, mechanics of how Protoss, he does play Protoss, how Protoss can win, and he actually taught Destiny a strategy that is very good abuse of Zerg strategy. So essentially what you do, of course, the one big thing that Protosses do not really have a great answer to, except Phoenix, is the Mutalisk. Granted, of course, Stalkers can be good against Mutalisks, but once you get enough of them, they're not that effective, and especially because, of course, Zerglings go with Mutalisks so well, and Stalkers are not good against the Zerglings. So what you almost do is, as soon as you can, you'll get up to your lair, and you'll throw down your spire, you'll grab all your gases, and of course, you'll have a whole lot of extra minerals once you start producing the Mutalisks. So what you do is you spend all your gas on Mutalisks, all your leftover minerals you throw into things like expansions, spine crawlers, overlords, all sorts of tech, and drones. So of course, by like the middle of the game, you could have up to 100 drones and like 6 or 7 bases, and you just harass the Protoss as much as you can. And what'll happen is eventually you'll force a base trade situation, because the Protoss won't be able to defend himself, and eventually they'll just have to attack. And so, what you'll see is he'll push out, but then because you have, you know, 6, 7, 8 bases, you'll just be able to completely destroy him in the base race. He won't be able to kill everything fast enough. Now, we do see EvOluTiOnS finally pushing out, trying to grab that expansion. He just went for kind of a 3-gate expand, and he's actually probably going to be moving out for a little pressure in a second. As a matter of fact, I know he will be because I played this game last night. But you do see he's just killing off those Zerglings, pushing out with a few sentries, Zealot Stalkers. He's going to just be grabbing the Zelnaga Tower. And I am just still droning up. You see I am a little bit ahead on drones. I'm just starting to grab my gases and whatnot. I actually have, yes, I do have a third. And I should be grabbing my lair fairly soon. Yes. Well, maybe not, because I just threw down 4 spine crawlers, because I did see him pushing out on the minimap, and as you can see, I don't actually have any units. I have a Zergling. And it is over here scouting for pylons behind the gas. So he is actually going to run in. I'm making as many Zerglings as I can. I've got about 6 on the way, as well as 6 more here. He does manage to pick off that, which I unfortunately am not able to cancel. But I do have enough Zerglings out now. Now, he unfortunately kind of whiffs on the first 2 force fields. Does manage to trap those Zerglings, so I'm trying to manage them as best I can. And I think I cancel, yes, I do cancel one of these, because I recognize that the threat is mostly over. So, nice little bit there. He forced a few more Zerglings than I would have liked. You've seen he's managed to catch up on workers a little bit. I didn't get to make quite as many as I'd like. And I am starting to get some roaches and stuff now, just because I am a little bit afraid. Because, of course, the thing is, I love the Mutalisks in this matchup, but they're not actually very good in fighting. They're really good for doing things like harassing, killing probes, killing strained units, scouting for bases, getting map control. But when it comes down to when they actually attack you, they are not the greatest units in the world. And so I get this Roach Warren just in case when stuff like that happens. And of course you'll see he is warping a fair amount of units. He's getting a +1. All sorts of stuff like that. He has a fair amount of gateway, so he's going to be warping in a bunch of units, and he will probably be pushing out at some point, and that's why I have those roaches for that just-in-case situation. Now I'm sending in my very late Overlord to do some scouting, which of course it's not that bad because he didn't throw up much tech, because he was doing that push out and that expand. So I do see the robotics facility going down. And I can say when I plan to go Mutalisks against a Protoss, when I see Robo, it makes me the happiest person alive. He actually throws down the bay behind the mist there, which again, if I had seen that, that would have been even better. I do have my idle drone sitting on here. But do I have 3 on here? Yes, I do. Good. But anyway, I love the Mutalisks because, of course, nothing that comes out of the Robo can actually attack air. So when you're going Mutalisk, you can actually pick off, strain, Colossi, do a whole lot of really good harass. You don't have to worry about a whole bunch of Blink Stalkers coming to kill you or anything like that. So we do see my 4th base is coming up now. My macro is not too great, but I am saving some gas, waiting for my Spire to finish, and I'd imagine we'd see probably quite a few drones. Yes, 16 drones now that my injects have finally popped. I do have my Queen on the way. And I'd imagine it will be rallying there. I just decided to throw down a random Spore Crawler here in my base, because in case he does come in with an Observer, this will kill that off. And of course, that is always very annoying. And so now, everyone's just kind of sitting back and macroing. We do have EvOluTiOnS working on getting up this little Stalker Sentry Zealot ball. And I'd imagine we will see Colossi production start very soon, because we do have the Thermal Lance on the way. He's also throwing down a Stargate, and I'm not sure exactly why that is. I'm moving out with these roaches right here, trying to retake the Zelnaga Tower. And I do have my Mutalisks on the way. And he's finally starting a Colossi. I guess he just didn't have enough minerals. But anyway, so here's when you'll really start seeing it. Is I should be throwing down my gases here in just a second. Yeah, there it is. And I should be injecting. Great. And so what I'll be doing is you'll see I have a whole lot of extra minerals. So I should probably be grabbing more expansions in just a second. Yeah, so you see I'm planning to throw down 1 hatchery there. And 1 hatchery there, and there's its Observer actually, so unfortunately my Spore Crawler couldn't kill it. But yeah, as you see, I'm just building a whole lot of drones. I'm up to 58 now. These 14 will catapult me up to, what, 72? Now I do see the push out coming from him with this decently sized Stalker Sentry ball. Now of course if I was going for something like roaches, I would be able to absolutely crush this, but because I'm not, all I have are these Mutas, I could be in a little bit of trouble. So you see, I do have these Mutalisks, but they're not actually that great against these units. It's actually his own force fields preventing him, delaying him a little bit. He does send these sentries, or these zealots over here, and he sees my bases. And now I have to see, will I be able to actually hold everything off with these Mutalisks? Now luckily for me, his army was actually a little bit segmented, so I'm able to pick off a few more units right at the start. And now I'm just straight up attacking into it. You see almost all my roaches are dead. I'm losing a good amount of mutas. But now you see I have Zergling starting to stream in, and this is the point where he kind of has to retreat. The problem is, against mutas and zerglings, retreating's not too much of an option because they're all faster units than you have. He does have the one Void Ray out, so it looks like he might have been going for some kind of a Void Ray Colossus Death Ball. But of course, again, Mutalisk's very good against all of those things. Now I do come here, I pick off these Zealots that were hanging out, but he will know that I do have my 4th and 5th bases on the way as well. So you see I am a bit supply blocked right now, but I am up to the 70 workers I do like to have. And he's contained on here. So right now I would say the game is probably in my favor. I'm not too far ahead, but I do have the tech that he cannot really counter. And so he's getting the Twilight Council, which will of course allow him to get Blink, and he does have the Stargate out, which could let him get Phoenix if he chose to. So we'll have to see what he chooses to do in response to these Mutalisks. Now of course with, for those of you who don't know, Heart of the Swarm, the expansion coming out soon for StarCraft 2, will have a protoss unit called the, I believe it is the Tempest, that does splash damage versus air. It's very good. So of course that is kind of going to be the counter to Mutalisks. And I do actually fly over this. Of course I can't see that this is actually about to be built, but we can see that it will be. And you see I'm just sending my mutas, having them do a little bit of pressure here, and I'm able to pick off, let's see how many workers, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 13 workers before he pulls his units. And I'm wary to push in because of the stalkers and whatnot. But now I'm actually, you can see I'm just like, ooh, I should have picked off that pylon, 2 health left. Actually, no, I decided to go over here because I do see this. And here's where this always happens. Now, the Protoss is saying, oh, I'm getting attacked. I can't actually hold off these mutas, so I'm just going to attack him. This is that base trade situation I was talking about. So you do see I have a lot of mutas sitting right here. I have these Zerglings on the tower, and I have these mutas right here. So you see I do start to send them towards him, then I change my mind. So I'm just straight up attacking his base. He doesn't have units here. He can't really defend. You see I do have 6 more mutas on the way. I'm trying to get these units up here as well as I can. Of course, I'm A-moving them, so they're turning and attacking everything in the way. My drone's just getting massacred, but I do have more Mutalisks. And so here's that base race I talked about. So we'll have to see, because he has, of course, these Colossi and these Stalkers, there's a much higher damage output than I have with my units. But he's not even started to attack me yet. You see, I'm in here, I'm picking off, I'm picking off all the pylons. You see, I'll probably queue up commands in a second, yeah, just to make sure all his production facilities are shut down. I'm killing all the probes in here. And he's pushing into my base, and you see, I have no units here. I have completely abandoned this. I'm just making as many mutas as I can, and I should be making Zerglings in a second too. Now I'm guessing I probably don't really have any larvae. No, I do have larvae. I'm just focused on other things right now. And so he's going to be pushing in my main. He's going to be managing to kill all my tech. But at this point, because I recognize what's happening, I actually decide to get I rebuild some of my tech down at some of my other bases. Now that's one of the advantages. You see, he's going to kill my main. He's probably going to pick off my lair and everything. But at the same time, I've killed off almost his entire natural, and I'm just working on the production facilities here. And you'll see, because I have overlords at almost every single expansion, I know he does not have another base. I'll know in a second, once I pick this off, that he does not have other buildings. And so right now it's not looking too good for him, because I still have 1, 2, 3 bases. I got my spawning pool rebuilding, and I should have my spire. Oh, I think I meant to rebuild my spire, but I guess it didn't because my lair was gone. But anyway, you see I'm going to be picking off these last 2 buildings, and hopefully that will be the win for me right there. But I guess he must still have another building somewhere. Here it is. He just has the one lone pylon. Unfortunately, his army is here. He will be able to protect this, and he does know about these bases, so he's going to know, oh, I have to go kill these right now, otherwise he's going to beat me. And he does leave a bunch of Colossi and a few Stalkers defending it, so you'll see my Zerglings are going to run and try and pick off, and they're all going to die. But the Mutalisks pick it off in about a second, and that is the last of his building. I guess did he leave, or did he lose? I think he just lost right there, honestly. I don't think he has any buildings left. I don't see any. But anyway, there's a bit of an introduction to my Zerg versus Protoss strategy, and there's another one of my games. So I hope you guys enjoyed my second cast for today, another cast with myself. Maybe you can laugh at my bad macro. And so I hope all of you have a wonderful day.